He lives in the northern jungle, cold winters, polite monkeys, free healing caves. He thinks he has it good. He is wrong. His economy is rotting from the inside, productivity collapsing, branches unaffordable. Smart monkeys fleeing south. He doesn't see it. He is too busy celebrating his falling jungle market, waiting to buy bargains that aren't coming. Fatal error. Today, Monkey explains why Canada's economy is falling apart and why the smart Canadian monkeys are already planning their escape. The branch disease. Asterisk asterisk. Start with the branches housing in most jungles. Branches are shelter. In Canada, branches became the entire economy. Real estate is 20% of Canada's GDP. Finance and insurance tied to branches add another 10%. Nearly a third of the entire jungle economy depends on branch prices going up forever. Think about that. When half your GDP growth comes from monkeys selling branches to each other at higher prices, you don't have an economy. You have a pyramid scheme with maple syrup. Canada built its entire future on the assumption that branches only go up. Here is how bad it got. Canada's housing bubble makes America's 2008 crash look like a baby monkey's tantrum. Since 2005, Canadian branch prices rose 207%. American prices rose 88%. Same period. Canada's private debt hit 235% of GDP. Japan at its peak bubble, 213%. Canada beat the legendary Japanese bubble. The IMF says Canada has the highest risk of mortgage defaults among advanced economies. The highest, not top 5. The highest. Average branch in Toronto costs 16 times the median income. Median, that means half of monkeys earn less. Young Canadian monkeys can't afford branches, so they leave, or they stay and rent forever, or they move in with their parents until they're 40. He thinks this is normal. He thinks branches are supposed to cost this much. He has been boiling slowly like a lobster in maple syrup. The productivity death spiral. Asterisk asterisk. But here is the death trap. While Canada built branches and traded them back and forth, it forgot to build anything else. Canadian productivity hasn't grown since 2018. 7 years. Flat. The Vine factory is broken. Construction accounts for nearly 20% of the economy, but generates zero productivity growth in 40 years. Zero. The OECD ranked Canada dead last in per capita GDP growth projections for the next 40 years. Dead last among all advanced economies. For 25 years before 2015, Canada's per capita GDP was 10% above the OECD average. Leader of the pack. Now, for the first time ever, Canada fell below the OECD average, 2% under in 2024, and falling. Every single province is in decline. Ontario, the engine of Canada's economy, averaged negative 0.1% growth. Negative. Alberta, the oil money province, did worse. Negative 0.8%, all 10 cylinders misfiring. Nobody driving growth. He doesn't feel it because GDP still grows. Trick. Bring in millions of new monkeys. GDP goes up. Divide by population, GDP per monkey goes down. Canada flooded the jungle with monkeys to fake economic growth. 3% population growth in 2023. Overwhelmed everything. Housing, healthcare, transportation, all crushed by sudden demand. The infrastructure couldn't handle it. Rents exploded. Wait times exploded. The American trap. Asterisk asterisk. But wait, it gets worse. Canada's biggest customer is throwing punches. America slapped tariffs on Canadian goods. Steel tariffs, aluminum tariffs, lumber tariffs, auto tariffs. The sectors that actually make things punished. 80% of Canadian exports go to one customer, America. One customer who now charges extra at the door. Manufacturing employment dropped 30,000 jobs since the tariffs started. 30,000 monkeys with skills gone from the Vine factory. Canadian steel exports fell 25%. Aluminum fell 6%. Autos fell 5%. These aren't branch traders, these are makers. GDP contracted 0.4% in the second quarter, largest drop outside of pandemic in 9 years. The jungle is shrinking. And here is the kicker. Canada's dollar is trash, 72 to 74 US cents. Weak money. Weak currency means expensive imports. Everything Canada buys from outside costs more. Business is squeezed from both sides. The trade agreement expires. USMCA renegotiation coming. America wants better terms. Canada has no leverage. None. He thinks the northern jungle will be protected. He thinks political monkeys will save him. Political monkeys can't print productivity. The brain drain begins. Asterisk, asterisk. Smart Canadian monkeys see the writing on the wall. They're leaving, heading south to the American jungle. 45% of young Ontario monkeys considered moving to another province just for affordable branches. That is just the start. High-income monkeys with skills look at American salaries, 2 times higher, 3 times higher. Same job, bigger paycheck. Why stay? Canada invests in young monkeys, education, training, healthcare. Then those monkeys take their skills south, gift to America. The monkeys who stay are drowning in debt. Average Canadian household spends 14% of income just servicing debt, just the interest. Student loans, mortgages, car payments, credit cards. Debt servicing leaves nothing for spending. Economy chokes. He is loyal to the northern jungle, loves the healthcare, loves the politeness. Loyalty doesn't pay rent. Loyalty doesn't grow savings. The illusion of safety asterisk asterisk. He thinks Canada is safe because it didn't crash in 2008. That is exactly the problem. America had its crash, painful, quick, reset, affordability returned. Young American monkeys bought branches at fair prices. Canada avoided the crash, kept the bubble inflating, kicked the can. Now the can is a boulder, and the cliff is closer. Canadian banks extended mortgages, let monkeys not even cover interest, increase debt while making payments. Government-sanctioned madness. American banks took losses. Canadian banks are protected from losses. The fantasy continues until it can't. The bubble hasn't popped, it is deflating slowly. Ontario tracks the American crash trajectory. 5 more years to bottom, maybe more. 20% of the economy tied to branches. What happens when branch prices fall for 5 years? You do the math. What does a smart monkey do? Asterisk, asterisk. First, stop pretending Canada is special. It is not. Same economic laws apply. Bubbles deflate. Debt gets paid. Eventually. Geographic arbitrage works both ways. Canadian skills in American markets earn American wages. Dollar for dollar advantage. If staying in Canada, build skills that export. Remote work for American companies. American wages, Canadian taxes, arbitrage. Don't buy Canadian branches at bubble prices. The math doesn't work. 16 times income is not affordable. It is indentured servitude. Rent and invest the difference. Canadian branches returning 2%, global markets returning 7%. The choice is obvious. Diversify away from Canadian assets. The loonie is weak. The economy is weak. Don't concentrate bets on a sinking ship. Hold some American assets. Hold some global assets. Canada is 3% of world markets. Act accordingly. If young and skilled, seriously consider the exit. The math favors leaving. Patriotism is expensive when it costs your future. Build portable skills. Skills that work anywhere, software, finance, healthcare. Things that travel when you do. The monkeys who wait for Canada to fix itself will wait decades. The structural problems took decades to build. They take decades to fix. Thunby. The uncomfortable truth asterisk asterisk. Canada built an economy on branches and nice weather reports. When branches stop going up, the illusion dies. Productivity flat. Young monkeys fleeing or broke. Debt crushing, trade partner hostile, currency weak. All 10 provinces sinking. He still believes in the northern jungle, the healthcare, the politeness, the clean air. Beliefs don't pay mortgages. Political monkeys promise fixes more spending, more programs, more borrowed leaves. The debt grows. The problems remain. Canada didn't diversify when times were good. Oil money covered the cracks. Now oil money flows to shareholders, not investment. He is watching his purchasing power shrink, his rent rise, his dreams of owning a branch fade. He blames everyone but the system. The system was designed to pump branch prices. It worked perfectly, just not for him. Smart Canadian monkeys already left, already diversified, already built portable lives. They saw the slow-motion train wreck coming. He is still convinced it will turn around, still waiting, still loyal. Loyalty to a jungle that made branches unaffordable isn't loyalty. It is Stockholm Syndrome. If Viewer Monkey wants to learn how housing bubbles destroy economies from the inside, watch the video on why your branch is not an investment. The maple syrup is running out.